Moses and Mr. Toby One. How are you guys?
I thought you forgot.
Yeah,
I almost forgot.
I don't know who you are.
It's like
your boy.
You don't belong in PUBG, do you? That's right. We'll send you back to the convict island. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the convict island, Australians coming in second.
Yeah, they're
How's
doing
that?
great. They're doing fantastic. The circle worked really well for them.
They were there.
They actually got so lucky with the way the circle moved.
Oh, well.
Like, actually, there was only one team which was luckier in that circle, which was OMG. Like, they had both the north and the middle part of the circle.
Yeah.
And then they bumped north to try and fight the 4-5 teams invading from northeast. And you're like, okay, well, this is screwed now. Like, that's not going to work.
Well, it's really difficult to deal with rotations on a good day, let alone when you have to go north and south and then down to, like, in the military base in general. Like, those circles are always really killer. So it's anybody's game at that point.
And then the circle is just like, well, smack bang on top of the. Yeah, someone had to destroy this table to start with.
We'll get to
Hold on.
You want to?
I can dilute it if you want.
I think Boogie already.
See, this is me just predicting a water. Hang on. I actually got this.
There we go.
Can't get a
That's
zoom in
fine.
on this, but we basically created swampland.
Oh, there we go.
That will be the last location.
Is that what you're calling for the next circle? See, look at that.
See.
Nice.
Yeah, our wonderful swampland.
Well, so Grubby coming in with a big 17 kill win on top of the Vitality's Game 1 performance, another high kill final. What do you think that we're looking for going forward? Are we going to see one of these two teams repeat, or are we thinking maybe a new team might come step forward?
New teams, please.
Yeah,
New teams,
I mean,
please.
at this point, with the point structure the way it is, and having so many points available for kills, just generally speaking, if you win a game, you're getting a ton of kills.
Absolutely.
So when you have multiple or when you have the same team winning multiple games, you could really snowball quickly. So having some variety there is going to keep everybody in the running. There is essentially a comeback mechanic as well as something we've been talking about on the side where, you know, even if you're down a little bit of points, you got to get a couple of kills and you're back up there.
That's always the thing too. Like when you play a round robin tournament, like the winner is already decided before we go into the last one. But then you have a team like Ruby who can come in, they get 17 kills, they take the first place position. This is just a huge injection of points, which means you're never really going to say, oh, we're out of this tournament. Like, we can always get down, you can always be aggressive, and it's what we're hoping for from the CIS team, to actually be aggressive. And I'm kind of waiting for the Chinese team to step up as well and do the same type of thing. With the slow circle, the slow engagement, I should say, we had in map 1, the Chinese teams are waiting for the right time to strike.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We've seen from a lot of these new teams, specifically LGD, going at phase and scrims. I was talking about this at the pre-show, how they just did not relent and going to Milta with phase, and that's something that if I'm in the game, I'm staying as far away from phase as possible, and these guys are just going at it constantly. We see that aggression coming in a lot from these Korean Chinese teams who have this desire to always be in the action, and it's great to see.
Well, they're by no means scared, but they are also now positioning themselves fairly well, and on top of which they can get these kills, but they can also make themselves stay alive as a 3 to 4 man to very late game to actually get positioning on top of those kills that they may actually get as well.
Yeah, I mean, and positioning is so key in the game too. When you have this ability to stay force strong, it's essentially a win condition, is to stay as many strong as possible throughout as much of the game as you can, and then have that ability to go into the final circles and stay that way. So it's been difficult, especially with rotations, but you know, only the best teams can really manage that.
You know, and I'm actually just hoping with these rotations to keep 4 alive that you don't have these big open area end circles. Like, not on the top of a runway and not in the middle of the area in front of shelter, like north of shelter.
True.
Like, bring us into a nice tight area to play around with. Hence, my vote for Swampland.
You do have a vote for Swamp.
Yeah, and I mean, or even looking at the relatively new Mansion Forest, I think would be an interesting ending as well.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really cool place.
Yeah, I think that just the variety and change, and you know, having the military island as a ending zone can be interesting as well, just from a pressure standpoint. So realistically, actually, we're gonna get the first plane.
Well,
or
guys,
the third plane.
Good luck.
Say.
We'll see you soon.
Paro, who's the team you want to watch most before you go?
Well, Tainted Minds.
Tainted Minds.
Oh,
Tainted
wow.
Minds. All right.
Wow,
Let's watch the Australians. All right. It's game time, boys and girls. It's game time. So for once, we're not actually starting from the southwest with the plane. We're actually going to go northwest to almost direct south down to the military base. So so far, TSM is probably going to be the most effective from this as well, because they can't go to the normal drop. No one is making Milta from this.
No, and it's not a super great plane path for a lot of the teams who want to get to that side of the map. So for now, it's going to be a mad dash for vehicles around the center. I think Pachinki will be definitely a hot spot. We've seen Tainted Minds hold that area through their scrims as well. But for the most part, I think that the Georgia Pool area is going to be pretty crowded. But Groovy and Space Station look like they're going to be vying for the Southwest as well.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. I'm also looking forward to seeing where all that blue and red's going to go. FaZe as well as LGD. You mentioned before they're going to stick to each other like glue. Just how far do they want to try and enter into the Milta area? Because you're going to end up at farm. That's going to be the longest drop you're almost going to get.
Well, they can definitely extend their drop to a point where they can land around vehicles or even around the Milta area, maybe not Milta proper, but for FaZe specifically trying to get to the power plant will be kind of difficult. But for them, prioritizing vehicles is something that they do anyway, so I think that's what their early game strategy is going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Looks like TM actually have a little bit of extra company this time around. So Ghost took Pachinki. TM, they've been joshing a little bit, mainly at the Vitality guys. That they would be jumping over towards Milta, but instead, ever since the bad drops into Pachinki in their earlier scrims yesterday, it's only been the school. Are they actually trying to get him?
Well, you know what? It is an anti-aircraft gun, I think. I'm not sure if that's its original use, but it can be used that way. So trying to go to those long shots is definitely difficult. We are going to see our first circle moving to the very far north end of the map. So it's going to be around that Severny shooting range area. So for teams that are in Georgia Pool, it should be an easier early game, specifically TSM, Kingwin, and Snake. Meanwhile, we still see FaZe and LGD jockeying for position. Looks like FaZe has grabbed their initial vehicles. I'm not sure if they're going to try and transition to Milta, however, because it's going to be a little bit too dangerous. They might want to go to that alternate strat we see from them sometimes where they go up to that Kameshki area and try and loot around there.
Yeah, potentially. But we'll watch them closely. SST is having a great time up on the north. MVP as well. These have been the two guys who've always gone as far as they possibly can. Pollyanna has been MVP's home base almost next to TSM on the eastern coast. But in this case, TSM could play the better position. And Georgia Poll is probably going to be heating up pretty soon with a large amount of teams starting to converse there. Kingwin as well as Snake almost standing on top of each other.
Yeah, 4 teams occupying Georgia Pool is an interesting situation. TSM is fairly confident in that area. That's a place they've spent a lot of time looting. They could even swing up to Jarky if anything gets too wacky there for them. But for United, they're kind of sandwiched between Snake as well as Kingwin, who could rotate up that way as well. But for now, I'm imagining that they're just going to take their time, get looted, and try to avoid each other as best they can.
Yeah, hide it out. Wait until we see more closer fights. Vitality as well as Team Secret might be contesting a little bit. Fuzzface has actually gone really far east. Like he's almost reaching.
Looks like they are going to Milta. Yeah, it looks like they are going to try and get to Milta super late.
Are you that dedicated to go to Milta?
Well,
do you do a drop off?
Yeah, I guess. Well, they could do that a split as well, where they drop a few people at Milta, maybe go up to the Lepovka area.
Yeah, they'll have to be fast.
They transition north so frequently anyway. Like they'll come way around the top of that first circle, come in around the gas station area, which is just to the east of Stalber. To the east of Stalber. That's something that they take all the time. So I think that's what we'll see from them. But for now, it looks like they're sticking to the standard issue Milta power strat.
Yep. It's going to be a nice time as well to see LGD getting involved earlier on, mainly because they're right next to the circle, unless they have a plan to go up to Kamensky. And that's a decent trip.
Well, even looking to the south end of the map, Groovy, our winners from the last game, stuck down in way down in the south end of the map, as well as Space Station and OMG on the military base. So they'll have a very long drive up there. Entis doing what we've seen as the tempo strat, already transitioning to the middle of the zone.
I'm wondering if this is when we see more lockdowns on
choke points,
on the choke points, because there's a lot of bridges that connect towards the north. But primarily it's the one where Ghost is currently set up.
Yeah,
you already have E-United on the western side of the bridge just coming out of the Georgia Pool crates. So these critical positions, the ones like teams like Ruby, like your leaders from before, they're going to have to make such a quick trip up because they're waiting until the last minute before they're even going to start leaving the south end. Same for OMG. OMG are taking a very long time to loot inside military.
No doubt. And actually, speaking of how these transitions can work, looking at Groovy versus looking at FaZe, the road to the circle is much easier when you're on that right side of the map compared to Groovy, who has to deal with Gatka, the Gatka Fields, the Georgia Pole Mountain. The natural choke points on the left side of the map are much more apparent. You can already see Ghost engaging with Entis as they cross the bridge. So Ghost is likely going to hold on to that for some time now, and realistically just kind of poke at teams and harass them as they come across. And even with EU United in that area, they might try and put pressure there as well.
Miles is very happy. SST, whereas they're already nicely established, picks up the M24. A hell of an upgrade from a Mini, because that gun's a piece of wonderful antiquated equipment.
Well, you know, the Mini was good, and then it got the Swift Nerf stick right to the side of it there, so it's no longer good. But
don't worry, the buffs will come back,
and then it'll be super OP again.
Yep. That's the way it works. You got to keep the meta switching around.
Exactly, no doubt. Maybe the Vector will come back someday too.
I'm sorry. Are you going to double up how many bullets that gun's able to hold without having to have an extended mag?
It was good for a while, just like the Mini.
Looks like Entis has already signed to establish themselves as well. They're moving to almost the northern middle of that circle. There's a nice little compound on the crossroads, so anyone trying to drive that northern road will find themselves under fire pretty quickly.
So Ghost has done a lot of damage to Entis as they've come across. No knocks, no kills just yet. So for Ghost, all they're really doing is just holding this, making sure that they don't let anyone sneak past them. But now with Ghost, with McCoy rejoining them, they should have that extra damage needed to maybe get those vehicle kills that they're looking to at this choke point.
Where is SSG going?
Boats, man.
Are they gonna LGD this? Are they actually gonna boat all the way around the top of Zaki?
You know
Never
what?
forget.
Any team name that contains the letters LG and boats makes me nervous. But as far as the SSG squad is concerned, it looks like they're gonna go the longest possible route. But they've left early enough that I think it could work for them. They might take some early circle damage. But really, it's going to be the only real mode that they can I guess, think of, because all the vehicles will have been taken, not to mention the circle's already closing.
It's part of the critical plan, right? Like, there's going to be more loot drops in the ocean, because it's about, like, 1/3 of the circle right now. Yep. So if a loot drops in the ocean, you're going to get the gun you want.
Yeah, well, that's also depending on...
Or it's going to be an AUG.
Yeah, it could be an AUG. I mean, it's a good weapon, but at the same time, those crate drops landing in the ocean, by the time they get to where it's relevant, it might be too late. That circle may have shifted already, and really focusing on that position is going to be the paramount point for them. So for now, it's just going to be a long transition on those boats, but the center of the circle already filling up. FaZe still in their loot phase, as well as Vitality. So for now, it's kind of settling into the standard issue early game for a lot of these teams.
I'm waiting to see, like, is Groupie actually leaving somebody behind? They must have found a 3-seater bike or something, because they have left one of their own behind.
Yeah, I mean, leaving one behind, I think that they're likely just going to split up on their vehicles. There's no real scouting going on for Groupie right now. There's no need to scout. It's just going to be a low and slow entry on the bottom half of the circle, I imagine. Georgia Pole will be free now of most teams who are moving into center positions based on their good spots right now. So for Ghost, it's still holding that choke point as best they can.
EU and Kingwin are running parallel to each other going up that hill. There's a lot more support still on the way, and haven't even seen any real conflicts from either side, because everyone's just setting up for this next circle. No one's actually really held the choke points apart from Ghost with a little bit of chip damage, but it's all waiting, right? Like, everyone's trying to get that nice position. I think SSG actually has to go into Georgia Pole, and that might bring them into the crosshairs of TSM.
I actually really like the spot that Larson has here. He's got this great divot. I believe this is up by the plane crash area. Yeah, that is exactly where they're at, up by the plane crash. So with Kingwin holding this little divot, there's a lot of vision that can be gained, and it's easily defended. But for now, he's a little bit spread out from his team, so he's just trying to gather that information as best he can. Vard actually at the plane itself. So for EU United, if they see anything, they might want to move on it.
It is just raining M24s. This one even comes with a bonus scope.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the M24 is such a nice upgrade. You have that available ammunition. You can continue to use it, whereas the AWM, very limited in what you can use.
So some people are just not 20-shot people.
You know what? I'm not a pro for a lot of reasons, and it's because I can't shoot the AWM.
Yeah, so. I pick up an AWM. I continue to use my M4. Unless someone stands perfectly still on the exact 100-meter mark,
don't move.
Then okay, maybe we're good. So teams are going to be being forced into the blue phase. We've seen them being very late already today and during the scrims yesterday to get out of Milta. So they're happy to delay it. Vitality also taking a very long time just walking up the main road to get in.
They might actually not have vehicles. You know, there are RNG spawns.
So they just found one, it seemed. No, they got two. They got two. FaZe has transportation now.
So for Vitality, I think that the way that they're acting suggests that they don't actually have vehicles right now. But we do see MVP listening to Tainted Minds.
Oh, here you go.
Just rotating past them. Here come the first shots.
The exposed bike riders Mad Maxing it right across the open plains. Okay, the 3-seater. That's death at a good time, but it's for Joshy. He wants to get off it. He spun himself out. And they still can't connect. MVP.
Oh, wow.
10% over the hill and far, far away.
Yeah, for Joshy, he definitely, I think, had a little bit of regret there as he came into that open field. Having to stop and then do like a 3-point turn in the field is not how you want to defend against gunfire. So for Joshy, barely making it out there without getting knocked, but now he's spread from his team.
It's nice to see Tainted Minds being a little bit more aggressive, though. Like, instead of sitting on the edge of the circle like they did previously, they actually were very willing to move to the northern part of the island. And this is actually now making
another run at it.
Okay. Well, where's MVP gone now? Yeah. If they're looking the right way, but he's got the trees for cover, so he's well off.
So LGD not too far away, driving in around a nice spot again. Natural cover, going to set up a vehicle fort
taking
here.
Some fire from the shooting range.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're going to have this nice plane to hold on to. But it'll be a matter of getting that vision onto the shooting range and also defending above them. As you see, I believe that Snake moving around up there as well. I'm not sure exactly the distance, but this is a nice little land hold for LGD.
Yeah. If they can hold this area. SSG has finally made their trek in. They're going to come into the western sides of Northern George. TSM still hasn't left there, but Groovy is making their run past Ghost in just a second. So this will be an interesting run to see if they can actually not get shot out. They've gone for the western side bridge, so they have actually a ridge line between the two of them. So they'll be fine. OMG probably going to be the last one next to FaZe to get inside the circle.
I'm actually interested to see Vitality now finally mounting up in their vehicles just as this next transition is about to go. So this will be increased damage for them, and it's going to shift very far to the left-hand side of the map. So for TSM, this is great. SSG just arriving from their boats, but now the map pressure is really going to mount on that right-hand side of the new play zone.
It seems Poker just ran himself over with a vehicle. But he's still alive. He can still be picked up.
Yeah,
not a problem at all.
Just a flesh wound.
This is one of those times when you can't... Oh, okay, that's what it was. It was a bike.
The old bike.
Yeah, that's that moment where it's like, okay, we can load up those individual player cams that we have available so we can relive his glory.
Yeah, I imagine he tried to do a backflip. It definitely wasn't the terrain randomly flipping him over. He probably did something really sweet. We just didn't happen to see it.
Yeah, style points, that's what you're going for. This is Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Looks like Kingwin as well as Entus have actually managed to engage each other on the northern side, and LGD is getting involved in that three-way crossfire too.
Entus as well.
And Tainted Minds has found themselves in this, so you've got yourself a huge run. Extrude's trying to run it back, get himself up the hill, while Tony's got so many different targets to choose from.
Josh, he's still in that 3-seater, really maintaining his allegiance to the death machine. But for Joshy, he's barely going to be able to sneak by as Tony V's just taking those pot shots with the Car 98.
Yep.
So all sorts of pressure mounting in that center play zone as still 62 players remain.
Yep. The other pressure which you could potentially have is FaZe, Secret, and Vitality. So they've all managed to move up to the eastern side of the blue. They've got the long run on the quick circle, so they cannot waste a lot of time. There's your explosion. Tainted Minds, finally their luck has run out as Groovy claim extra kills.
So for Tainted Minds, that long rotation finally catches up with them, and all that vehicle damage results in 2 going down very early here. Tony V still holding strong in this nice garage compound. So that middle zone,
Secret and FaZe are going to drive on top of each other.
Yeah, that's going to be another choke point, and that's really the story of these types of circles, where the water and not to mention the island transition is just really tough to deal with.
Here's the chase cam, and when you wish you had that second person in the passenger seat so you just start shooting at each other.
FaZe is so good at, well, I guess you can't shoot off the back of the motorcycle, unfortunately, but
well, you can with a pistol, I believe, but I don't know if that's going to be...
Okay, got it, yeah.
Yeah, but the chance of you shooting your own driver when you do that is rather high.
Yeah, no doubt, and then the same thing within the boat. So really for FaZe, they like to stay split in their vehicles just to prevent that huge damage coming in. Speaking of which, it's Mollis taking Yempty off the back of the motorcycle, so Sunsister picking up a early knock there on FaZe.
Yeah, this is the issue when FaZe as well as a Secret, they try and come through already established teams. It's just a turkey shoot.
So now Secret stuck in the back, having jumped off their vehicles, trying to avoid what was happening with FaZe, maybe trying to pick up a knock themselves, now find themselves stationary, and that's going to be a difficult now secondary transition for them as Yempty is still down. I don't believe he's going to be able to be rezzed.
That's so hard as well. Like, that's SST. They're the guys that picked up the M24 previously. The ammunitions are good, and Entus is so low, and there it goes. Another double vehicle explosion Fuzzface as well as Mixie will be the death for this one.
So that is 3 down for FaZe. Yempty and not in a position to be rezzed. So that's gonna be one man standing, and I think did he fall off the side of the cliff?
Yeah, I think he bailed out of the car and then didn't find a way back up, and just instead found a way back down instead of up.
So now for Entis, having picked up those 2 kills, now 3 for Sanjiang. That's Smitty. You can do it, bro.
Yeah, I believe. What's he going to do? Get inside the car? You'll have to run all the way around, but you'll take him through the blue.
He's going to have to go around. It's just the joys of rock jumping is always Secret's trying to scout NPX is trying to scout a spot up for him.
It's the new downloadable content inspired by Sylvester Stallone Cliffhanger.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to have these little ice picks coming on the snow map right up the hill.
So for LGD, looking up towards MVP, they are. Yeah, I think Yempties must be dead by now.
Yeah, he just died.
Okay, so yeah, I think that was a foregone conclusion, unfortunately, for FaZe. Having still 16 teams up, they were very close to being the first team eliminated. Not something we've seen from them. However, they are very good at transitioning into a defensive mode, but with one man standing, they have a long, long time to go to try and get in that top 5 once again.
He didn't actually see Vitality running past him, but Groovy are ready for it. Vitality, they're driving practically into the GR lineup.
So for Snake and the rest of Groovy, as we come back to Vitality, who are in the midst of trying to recover from this gunfire, Groovy shooting, you can see in the left side of the screen there from very long distance, Vitality having to back off, but their vehicles are taking a ton of damage, which is going to be very problematic for them. The rest of this game might be on foot for Vitality. Yeah,
this circle keeps pushing them further and further west. Like, they have to continue on the roads. FaZe are doing exactly the same thing, moving in, while TSM and SSC, they're having their own little battle on the western side of the circle, trying to establish control to be ready for these rotating teams. But that northern road is getting, it's almost peak hour right now, bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Yeah, there's no space to rotate right now, and there's still so many vehicles in play. With TSM being distracted here by Space Station, Vexel down, and now Smurf as well. That's a double nade from Break coming out, so that's a very nice pickup, and all of a sudden TSM looks to be in control of this fight. Yeah,
they're trying to actually deal with them so they can continue to move on. TSM have been in this position before, and well, there goes Smurf as well. Vehicle explosion. And D-Master is the last one left alive inside the house. Just bunker up, so maybe with H-Win.
For D-Master and Win, they're going to have to figure out how to deal with this, but TSM has to be wary of the rest of the teams coming into their location. So for TSM, I like the vision they have right now. They can spot Win going up the hill, and he will go down as well. And all of a sudden, it's just D-Master.
They ensure they finish him. How long? They have to deal with this quickly, or else LGD is going to come from behind. They hear the gunfire, but they're a little bit away. They're still another 2-3 blocks out. And they do not want to get shot in the back.
Here comes another nade. That's going to land right in the front door. Break knocking down the door. Rory following up with the nade.
Run.
Here comes one, just barely dodging it. Here comes the follow-up.
It's going to be in behind him, though. He's still okay.
So now it's up to D-Master, knowing that he's got a team pressing. I would like to see if TSM tries to put pressure on the building or try and back off, because as you said, with them still being in the zone, they got to know that there are lots of teams on the way.
Yeah, and that means it may even be worth us leaving him behind. You know, you don't have that one person behind you. It's problematic, but you have to deal with this somehow. So potentially pushing in for that trade. Break. They should jump across from Rory. He can look through the window. At the same time, so can D-Master. Really, really low for both of them. Doing equal damage of 80% to each other. And Break's prepping another grenade, but he'll have to get it right inside the door.
There it
is.
In
order for this to work, and D-Master runs out, takes the fire, but finally he'll be brought down in the building. Nice. So TSM removed the thorn on their side and have 3 players left alive.
That was really nice. I really liked the aggression there. They applied even pressure throughout that engagement. They didn't quake at all, and really that's a nice pickup. That's the first team eliminated in Space Station, and 4 total kills for TSM.
Yeah, that's a good start for them. TSM, a team which we've seen reach the final circle with very minimal kills. So they get to perform this time around. MVP trying to hold this hill against Space Station, who are very well split.
So for Sun Sister, they're going to have to try and get up on the right side of them. And for MVP, looking to try and preserve those vehicles, they're playing rather defensively now. And for Sun Sister, I think that they're just willing to let this play out in front of them, as Ruby still staying active here. Sorry, that's LGD staying active.
Yep.
And putting lots of pressure on MVP.
Yeah, MVP will at least get the watchtower, see LGD coming. So they will be in a position of power. Tainted Minds have taken the small farm at the bottom of the hill, very easy to shoot into, but they do control the open area.
LGD is just kind of walking around in the open. I think that they have decent cover for now. And I think that they're just worried about maybe a flank coming from the rear. You can see Simba there looking back behind him. So they can't really push directly onto MVP without using a lot of grenades and utility. So I think for now it's just going to be a bit of a waiting game.
Yep. Well, the next circle is going to reveal itself in just a second, so we'll see just how far they have to go. Keep the car alive, allow the movement, and here comes your circle. It's going to push us south.
Wow.
And this is going to pull us into Georgopol, half of North George being inside this circle.
So right now, I really like Gruby's positioning. They have this hill, and we've seen this circle a few times before as we come to Vitality, doing some damage to Sabrek for Sun Sister. Him going down, Vitality sneaking in behind them, but Sun Sister does have the zone on them, so we'll see how Vitality handles this.
Oh, Vitality. They're at least getting some of the headshots over the ridge, but Sun Sister is a 2-on-3 with the knocks, and this is easily turning into a Vitality fight. Question is, does anybody go down? They're looking for the res, they're looking for that last player. Garber is the man. He's got the perfect side angle.
Nice.
He's going to find one using the suppressor. No compensator for this man, but it means stealthy.
So that's some nice sticking and moving here from Gaba. He's just basically putting the pressure onto Vitality, not allowing any reses, and he's keeping his teammates from being finished. Vitality a little scattered right now, but they do have the numbers, and it looks like Gaba is going to back off and just try and play for some placement here. Meanwhile, we have Entis and MVP squaring off in the apartments in Georgopol.
Yeah, they're locking down some good real estate. This property value is going to start to soar pretty soon. SST, Vitality.
We can hear them actually yelling in the background. That's SST is actually
it's
having
like,
a bit of a meltdown. But
why'd you leave me?
Where are you? Where are you?
You meant to pick me up. Gruby getting more and more EU.
So
Not where they wanted to be, and even MVP making the numbers better in the Northern Georgopol fight.
I'm really excited to see how Gruby manages his position. A lot of the time we will see the circle end just north of this area. So around that open plain north of Georgie. So that hill just outside the apartments where we see MVP held up right now is going to be very important to hold. And for Entis having already taken one casualty, they're going to have to deal with this team before moving out of George. And really, getting out of George is going to be a difficult thing for a lot of these teams depending on how this zone goes.
Yeah. The dream for these teams is that it closes on the south. That way they can hold Georgopol and not have to run up that northern side of the hill. Because it is going to be an absolute mess trying to make that happen. Looks like Profi's able to get another one. And, well, bunker in.
So for Vitality, having already taken some damage, Extrude now putting pressure onto their vehicle. Vitality having used a lot of meds, but did pick up that full, I believe, team wipe.
They're wrapping around the back of LGD. This is not where they want to be. TM start the first firefight, but this driving, LGD now opens up on them.
Ooh, that's
and
a lot of
that
guns.
is going to be a very dead vehicle. Shadow will blow up, but it will allow the rest of Vitality then run a lot more northern line and try and flank around to the west.
I think they're just going to try and sneak in as Vitality just on the edge of the circle, maybe to that northwest side. But for LGD, they have a pretty good spot as well. Now out in the plains, still putting pressure on a Vitality who just cannot find a way to get stationary. And it looks like they're going to continue to receive fire for LGD. That's going to be another pickup potentially.
Hey, it's LGD. If they're within 500 meters, that's fire-worthy right there.
Always shooting. Never not shooting.
Nope. But SST's got the harder move to go down. Gruby potentially can mop up Tainted Minds when they have to. Well, they will be forced out of that building eventually. So Gruby can pick up a lot of kills. Vitality again.
Wow.
Another vehicle explosion. This time it's what was the remains of Team Secret.
Yep. That's two down. Vitality still has Monkey by himself up in the up by where Sun Sister and Tainted Mind are. For LGD and Gruby rather, they do have a nice little sandwich going on here for TM, but TM is now potentially having to move again, but Georgie is just filled with teams.
Oh god, yeah. Vitality just lost way too much as well.
And there he goes.
So we're down to 12 teams.
Wow, that's a 13th place, I believe, for Vitality.
Oh, the circle. Okay, so Ghost appears to be in the greatest position at the moment. MVP is in a good position to hold the western side. And now it becomes building clearing, and everyone in the north must come down. Gruby are living the happy life, and LGD just want to bail out this one. There's only a couple of players left alive for TM, so this gun suppression fire is not going to be enough to stop LGD from getting into town.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and take that hill I was mentioning before, just kind of hang out on the northern side of it, which is a good hold for them, but doesn't allow a lot of vision. You can see Gruby now on the other side of that hill where LGD is setting up, and it looks like they're going to try and make sure that LGD does not get position on this hill, because for Gruby, holding this spot is going to be key for them to try and win.
They got vision. They can see him in just a second. Poker, he's so far forward.
Yeah, the first shots ring out now.
Oh, they're shooting the wrong people.
Wow. Already Groovy getting engaged here. LGD taking 2 casualties very quickly. And within Georgie, now everyone is shifting from the left side of town to the right side of town. So the building-to-building fighting is getting hot and heavy.
Yeah, this is getting very messy. They're trying to grenade clear this GR because they want to get the kills coming in from behind.
LGD is getting picked off from both sides too.
Yep.
So
And they know the Northern guys are pushing in soon. So no matter what happens, they can't even hold on this hill. Tainted Minds, SST, they're coming in from behind, but they are in the worst position. This is the Obi-Wan Kenobi moment right now. Groovy have the high ground.
Ooh.
And Joshy, he knows he's wrecked. That circle is on the way. It's right behind him. They have to move now.
Sun Sister actually coming in behind the last remaining Mander. That's, I believe, Gabba. And now putting, guess who it is? It's Gabba taking down Joshy. So now having to react is Extrude, but they will not be able to do so in time as Sun Sister eliminates Tainted Minds. And that is the Australians eliminated 12th place. Totally.
Easy 40 points. Easy 40 points. But I don't think he'll get much more than that. You can cling to bark. But Groovy are waiting for you to expose yourself, and then all of a sudden Gabba's going to go down. And that's exactly what we're waiting for. Tick down low.
That circle moving slowly gives him time and space, but just ultimately not going to be able to do anything about that, and he will go down, and that's 11th place for Sun Sister. So now it's about the teams in town who are still managing to try and get out of here. It looks like Team Secret is the last man outside the zone, and they're getting lots of pressure from Entis.
Yep.
Look at all around the middle of that little area. There's 4 total teams within, I think, 2 square blocks of each other.
Are we actually going to have a building finish? Is this going to be a rooftop apartment almost
moment?
We'll
guess see.
The circle is in its final part of its construction.
This thing normally, it's all RNG, folks, but at the same time, I've seen this thing shift to where Groovy is more than once. So Ghost and Groovy might have the best possible spot here, but we will see what the circle is about to do. Ghost, I think, has a great vision right now spread out along that entire area. They have no one behind them. Really liking that position from Ghost.
Oh, goodbye, TJW. Groovy are finally taking care of them, down to 8 teams now. And you're right, Ghost, if that circle... Oh, okay,
wow.
The circle could just come on top of him as well. That'll also work.
No doubt. So that hill comes out. That's it.
And it's such an open space on all fronts. The hill has to come in. Everyone from the west side has to move in. Kingwin's building, like I say Kingwin's building, there's just one player left in there. But that's actually not a bad position to hold.
It's his building now. So OMG is coming his way, not to mention TSM did, I believe, sneak in just on the edge, but they're getting pressure from MVP. This is going to be building-to-building fighting for the rest of this game for the looks of it.
If OMG can kill off Miracle right now, then they're going to be in a really good position. They have to take the top floor.
Wow, they're going in for it. So this is going to be up to Miracle to try and hold this building against the onslaught of all of OMG, and they are clearing from floor to floor. The smoke already on the stairwell, so I think they have some indication that there's somebody there.
Oh, Miracle's getting fire from the from the far side.
There's just nowhere to hide, really.
Is Ghost making his life hard? So he's got OMG on top of him and Ghost on the range. They're starting to clear up now. Enters TSM are getting wiped. Break. Maybe he can keep him alive. He gets the 20 points back. So killing of Sion.
Wow. So really, it's difficult to keep track of, but Break has now, I think, defended himself and eliminated all but one of Entis. And now OMG is trying to clear what I refer to as the murder house for a good reason. It's very difficult to get in and out of that place. Lots of corners, lots of rooms to clear. So for now, Miracle might be just clinging to life, but all of Ghost is just looking outward, trying to pick up as many kills as possible.
Miracle clinging for life and also just getting the hell out of there. He's actually backed outside of the circle, so he's in the building behind him, but there is a small area in the back door that he can sit for the moment and just let everyone else play it out. Play for position, don't play for the kills.
Yeah, and for Miracle, just trying to stay alive is definitely the prerogative now. Same thing with Break. Groovy has actually come all the way south and managed to get themselves a nice spot.
They got a floating Shade
behind. Yeah, Shade staying behind, maybe wondering if that circle does shift north again, but for now, Groovy did get in scot-free, so that's an interesting situation for them.
Oh, Team Secret, they're still caught on the edge, so yeah, Groovy, they're having a pick at Ghost, they're having a pick at OMG, they're having a pick at absolutely everything they can shoot at. But Team Secret are the ones who are, with 3 players, having to get past both MVP, TSM, and OMG to get in.
So for Ghost, I think that their biggest threat now is definitely going to be Groovy holding on to that building just across the street from them. They're continuing to put pressure onto OMG in the murder house. And looking at the top of that, we see Groovy with 11 kills
11
already.
kills out of this one. It's been very successful for them.
Wow, even Ghost has 6 kills, but Groovy, if they win this game, that would be 2 wins for them and an insane amount of kills. That could put them at a huge lead for now. But we are now seeing another transition, so we'll see what this next couple of circles will do.
MVP, you got to get out of there very soon.
Wow.
Like, they're just on the edge of the building. Now, that circle pushes them to the front side of the building, and this will bring him in range of Ghost as well as Groovy. So this
on
is
the rooftop.
not good news for the Koreans. They're going to sit on the roof for now.
Yeah, and now they're faced with a position where they have to either jump off the roof or expose themselves into a blue zone that'll do a ton of damage.
Everyone but Ghost has to cross the road.
So
like this is the only way. Like we asked the question a long time ago in the age of man, why did the chickens cross the road? It was literally to eat chicken.
wow.
Like, that's the only way they're going to get there.
Oh, and that's just barely missing a headshot. Balak nearly picking up a down there onto GR. So for Groovy, they are going to have to come across once again. And for MVP, they're stuck on a rooftop. And here's OMG, still 4 strong, however, and now the pressure is going to start to mount for Ghost.
All right, I wonder if Ghost can actually cover this many angles. They managed to finally get a couple of picks on MVP. MVP trying to run from north to southwest across, but they're running into both Secret as well. So even if you do make that run, it won't work. OMG had the perfect cover of smoke, the perfect distraction of MVP, and they will be able to get across without the casualty for their first 2 runners.
Really nice smoke usage. That was really nice. It made a perfect little piece of cover there for them to get across.
Oh, Secret.
Yeah, Secret's still picking away at MVP. Only 1 left standing. That's Pang stuck outside the play zone. The rooftop strategy not working out for MVP, but
I don't know how Secret get out of this. The circle is now moving again. They have to get across this road. If you don't have smokes, then McCoy is going to get so many kills right now.
McCoy actually focusing on Miracu now and Secret there as well. So Ghost looking in many different directions. This could be, if Groovy stays tight, they might be able to maybe dislodge Balak and get into across the street. But there's only one way to go, and that's right at Ghost.
Oh, the M24, Groovy. Well, he brought down, actually knocked down Turtle, and now here it is for Smitty. Team Secret, they know they're pinned. They're in a hopeless situation. Groovy actually losing Poker. This is not what they want to have happen.
So for Ghost, they're still maintaining a very strong position. If you actually see the way Ghost is set up within the zone, they have a huge amount of area controlled right now. And for Groovy, they're having to come all the way around behind them, and they're receiving pressure from Profi. So Secret using that.
Death from above. Break. Assassin's Creed it. Assassin's Creed it. Wait for the right time. He's waiting for the run over, but no break. He takes damage from across the road. He gets wrecked on the way through it. And now OMG and Ghost turn this into a real turkey shoot. And Miracu, he's lasted so long. Spotted around the back, hiding behind a tree inside the blue zone. He may be able to deny himself. No, actually, Profi gets the kill for it.
So Ghost now racking up an insane amount of kills as well.
Groovy still has 11 kills for this map.
And 1 man standing. This is looking all of a sudden like it's going to be an OMG versus Ghost ending.
How does Ghost keep getting these circles too? Like, let me just find my roll of dice for RNG.
It's all that area of control. They had all those buildings set up with them within that little area, and now they've just basically played the odds, and one of them was going to get a building all the time. They're also preventing people from getting on top of them. So for now, Ghost is playing this very well.
Yep. The only downside they have is they're going to be surrounded on all sides now. You've still got, for some reason, Pang on the northeast side of the road alive. That's that one little 4-digit you see on the mini-map. Somehow he's managed to survive for MVP. That's why we have 4 teams left alive. And Ghost, they have to keep some good angles up. OMG trying to push in closer. They have to claim that building to the south side.
So having that down come out, it's going to be now up to Profi to try and get those nades landing. Not going to happen, and the res will come out for OMG.
Safety rail. You can't hold that forever.
It's going to be a sandwich rail.
You must stand up and potentially kill Turtle and Profi. He's got both of them in front of him. Does he just go for the... He's going to play it stealth.
Stealthy.
Yep.
Stealthy Pang.
Ninja. Is he close enough? He can sit behind this wall. He's just
gonna
waiting it out.
Oh, he's not going to make it.
Oh, no, he got Balak. Get behind the wall. Turtle's coming in from the left. And Turtle will wrap up that pest. So 3 teams left now.
Balak going to be rezzed here by Turtle. So that's going to be another situation where they are going to get a res late in this game. The smoke's starting to come out. It is a Ghost versus MVP versus Shade battle. Shade doing the same thing that Pang was, but he's been spotted out already. OMG knowing he's there.
He has to make the run. He's using the first aid kit. He has to hit that wall in front of him, and this will bring him close to Ghost. He just goes for the run straight off on such low life. But Ghost, as well as OMG, they're not paying attention to him. He runs in deeper. He'll find one. Can he actually finish him? No. Zhao comes in from the side.
Wow.
Knocks him down.
So that's still only 1 down for Ghost, as I say that Profi taking a ton of damage there. This is still looking favored to be Ghost from a number standpoint, but it is still a 4v3 situation.
Until they can get him up, then Balak can join the fight again.
That'll definitely even the odds here. So still 3 up, and that's 4 kills only for OMG, but they're in a good position here, having made it to the top 2.
This wall separates them. No one wants to vault that.
Well, audio information is so key here. Zhao Rong.
Oh, around the side? Round the side?
He spotted him. spotted him.
Oh, the nade pushes him out. No one can come to res him. Turtle has the angle perfectly covered. And OMG through the doors. Lion as well. He'll go down, and now it's just one more player for Ghost to mop up. They have to get a shot through the door. He'll end in Turtle. They have the angle, and it's all up to Jahai sitting in the back corner. It's the final circle, and if Ghost want to run at him, he'll be very happy for that. Have a shot through the door.
Here comes the grenade potentially, however. They know he's in there.
Oh, and he left. He's got him. Oh, okay.
That's a defensive nade for sure. Not worried about the angle a little bit there.
Let's say denying himself 20 points potentially.
Well, I mean, honestly, he should really consider that. That's a valid strategy. Just run into the blue. But
he's got no grenades left now.
Well, no doubt. But not to mention that in this situation, if Ghost got crazy and ran at him, he could very easily turn this around. But they know he's in there, so it's just a matter of trying to dodge these nades.
He's got one more. He actually has a grenade, even though it doesn't show up here.
Oh, he does have one on his belt.
Yeah, he pulled it out for just a half second.
He's finding the angle, I think, trying his best.
Oh, there it is. So finally brought down in the room. Ghost keep all 4 alive at the very, very end. So a nice run for them. 7-5, 3 and 2 kills. It's been a good day at the office for Ghost, taking first place and a huge amount of frags.
Yeah, Ghost actually, the way they managed that last Georgie area circle was really nice. I like the way that they handled that area of effect for them and really just locked it down. They didn't prevent anyone from getting inside that building area and really just locking down that block of buildings, secure them that victory with an absolute ton of kills for Ghost. Groovy with a third-place finish as well.
It was a good day for them, and we can welcome back Poro. We're going to throw over to the analysts as well, and we give them the headsets back again. Hi, Poro.
Kills again. 2 games in a row. Our game winner coming in with a big 17-kill performance. This time it's going to be Ghost Gaming Turtle bringing in the most kills for them with 7. So, guys, look, the circles were there all day. I mean, you can't deny that the circles played a very important factor in Ghost Gaming winning this. I really... going into this, really liked Grubby's positioning at the top of the hill just to the north of North George, but then RNG just comes in.
Yeah. So, like, a mentality I like to have when I play is I would never crash a city until I know it ends there, and that's the same mentality Groovy has. They play in a safe position until they're 100% sure that this position will
be in the final circle.
This position will be in the final circle, then we'll push that. And Ghost being in the southeastern part of the circle, and they got favored by the circle. It shrank towards them a couple of times, but they still pushed up aggressively. So the circle shrank, and they were basically, if you cut the circle in half, they had that half, like the southeastern half, to themselves. So they were really greedy, and they pushed into that new circle as well.
And we got a new guest here as well with Mr. Beagle, but I'm going to say hi. Hi. Hi, Beagle.
Hello. Hi.
Now, go away, because we have a special guest in McCoy from Ghost Gaming. Coming in, come on in, come on.
Welcome.
Get in here,
Join
man.
us.
All right,
Hello.
Big McCoy.
Turn it a little bit closer to the mouth.
Oh, he has an additional microphone.
Yeah, that's
So
perfect.
we
Yes.
there. Beagle, you can stay. You can hang out.
Stay?
You can,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can
we're
stay.
not
So
going to kick you away.
Congratulations. Well played.
So 17 kills, man. 17 kills. Were y'all expecting that whenever you first took that positioning in Georgia Pole? Did you just kind of sit there and be like, holy shit,
well, yeah, we're
keep
Ghost
coming.
Gaming, Ghost Gaming Circle. We're named after it for a reason.
Well, there you go. So okay, well, guys, you kind of have something, I'm sure, here,
Oh, yeah.
analysts.
When you kind of have this mindset going into the city fights, right? Do you think it's important to have the high ground advantage over the city, or is it more like certain that you just wait it out for the final circles? What is your approach to the
well, you
want to
have,
fights?
so we took the 3-story pretty early, so you want to have those because you can cover choke points, so we covered the street and killed, I think it was Grubby crossing from the north, or killed 3 of them. And then we could see the team cross to the south to the apartment, so we pretty much knew where everyone was at. And then there was a couple solos that snaked their way in and like surprised us, but we dealt with them as 3 or 4 and just wiped them out.
Yeah, so basically having a crossfire
Yes.
is important for you guys.
Yeah.
Question. So when you're in this late game, when I personally play, I like to have at least go 2-2. But you guys, you're extremely skilled at going 1-1-1 or 1-1-1-1 and 2, or that you split up so much. You really want to cover this area and make sure that you choke people. Are you not afraid of losing one guy, getting a knock, that you have to run it open? You didn't lose anybody, but you got 2 or 3 knocks late game. And how do you manage to get your play up again? Is it because you think about being close enough when you do these splits, or?
Well, we're confident in each other to be able to when they're 1v1 or be able to hold and wait for backup to come. So when one person gets knocked, we try to deal with the situation as fast as possible and
Yeah.
go to revive them. But obviously, if they're in a bad situation, we just let them die and then
Okay.
try to hold out that team.
Who takes that decision? Is that the knocked guy, or is it the guy that's closest, or the in-game goal?
The
Or
alive people.
okay, yeah. Because you have if you take these Harry Potters for example,
Yeah.
it's so hard to get to it, and you're also a team where you really like to contest multiple areas.
Yes.
And also you send like Balak likes to go cubes because he likes those choke points.
Yes.
When you think about getting choke points, you only play choke points when you're close to them, or do you just go whenever and like take choke points all the time?
If possible, we try to take the choke points
Okay.
because then it makes rotating easier.
Kills or rotation? Which is most important?
Rotations.
Okay.
Obviously, kills come along with it if
Yeah.
people drive it by us, but yes, if we can rotate in the circle for free, then why not?
Of course.
I have a question when it comes to the macro situation of the team. Like, you just introduced practically a new lineup,
Yes.
right? So how much time did you guys sacrifice to prepare for this tournament specifically? What did you guys do to be ready for it?
We had about a week, and we got flown out down to Irvine, the boot camp at the Ghost Gaming facility. So that was nice. So we got to like meet each other in person, bond with each other, play with each other in person. So that was nice.
So Balak is now the IGL, right?
Yes.
And how did that affect you guys personally when it comes to the change of the leader?
He's a lot more confident in his calls. Before it was like everyone was like a little bit like shaky, you know, and like we would disagree on things. But now he's like the hammer pretty much. And he says, "This is what we're doing."
I think
The
that's
final-
needed
the
in
final
every
call.
single team,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You need a guy that says we go here. If it's bad
Yeah.
decision, too bad. But
Yeah.
if it's you need to follow with confidence, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just
It's
doesn't
better
work.
to die all on the same page than waste 2-3 minutes and die to blue.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
definitely. That's like the worst, right?
Yeah.
Well, guys, 17 kill performance once again. Very, very impressive work coming out of Ghost Gaming for this Game 3 performance. What do you think going forward? Are you looking for another win here in the
Yeah.
next game? Are you still looking
Back
for
to
these
back.
kills? Back
Ghost
to
Gaming
back.
Back to back.
circles.
Back to back. I like back
93
to back.
and 94. or
90.
whatever.
Is that what it was? Yeah. I mean,
Anyway-
feel free to freestyle at any time. That's,
For sure, but when it comes to also the circles, maybe let's talk a little bit about the other teams. You certainly didn't have like the situation, like full awareness of the situation,
Yes.
but the early circles were really brutal for some teams. We have seen Kingwood, an example, who love the northern edges of the map. They usually what they do is when there's a water circle, they go to that cliff. They have an oversight of the situation when there are people just, swimming around. But here in this tournament, we don't see people going into the water at all, right? So they wanted
Not
to
yet.
go. Yeah, not yet.
Not
not
yet,
yet.
yeah.
But they wanted to go to the same position on the cliff. But they met Antas on that path,
Yeah.
and already other Asian teams having the same strategy like them, and they were late to the rotation, had to back out. I think there was Larsen died first, right? Then someone followed up after him, and the other members of Kingwin had to back out and be super late to every single circle, rotate south to Georgopol, and that just kind of conclude what happened in the city, right? Everyone
Yeah.
was just bunkered for a very long time, and we didn't see fights for like I think 2 minutes at some point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the circles are something that are currently in 3 games. We have seen basically 3 different games of PUBG.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, also the plane is also something you can talk about because you have a plane that goes from George to Millie, and we have 5 or 6 teams playing like far east where they can't reach this. So it's also very rough, and we saw a lot of teams changing this up. So we had like 5 teams in George, and then it pops George, and Ghost were in a position where they could choke if it shrank east, but it shrank west one times, and then it kind of went into the middle, and Ghost was just in such a good position because they took that position early.
So question when it comes to the preparations as well.
Yeah.
I've seen you guys have also an analyst behind you guys, a coach, whatever you call him,
Yes.
right, for the team. How much of preparation, he puts in for you guys before the next game? Like, do you talk strategy on drops, on rotations because of that?
He tells us about like who dropped near us and like what people are changing up and stuff. So like if a team went military the first game, then they went to like Razak, let's say the second game, then he lets us know that because we dropped Puchenki, so we need to know who's around us.
For sure.
And then he's been letting us know that like for some reason people aren't really going center like first circle. So like everyone's like super like edge, and they got like 3 teams center, and then so you can pretty much just take center for free, and then we just sit there for like 10 minutes AFK, pretty much taking a nap, and then teams just drive past you in 20 minutes.
Yeah, actually, I've seen a lot of teams having a dedicated analyst, just sitting behind, and taking notes who rotates where, also taking notes on very specific movements. TSM, an example, AMPR is sitting behind the PC, and he was telling us about United. They were having like very different strategy than anyone else when one player just rotates out during the second or third circle and just takes a compound by on his own, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like it is impactful to your gameplay, right?
Yeah. I think, like, honestly, the way PUBG should go, like, sort of like Gears of War, where you have your coach, like, in the comms watching your games, like, they're very, like, they have a high influence on, like, what to do. So, like,
That would be
that's just another
cool.
mind, sort of like Counter-Strike and League, like, back, like, 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think they should do that.
Unfortunately, that's not a thing in CS:GO anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also another mindset is he's going to be able to provide you information you can't have yourself.
Yeah.
So if you have a strong leadership in your team, you might not need that as much. When you have Aflux looking at your game, and he can come and give you like 5 or 10 minutes quick speech. Okay, this is where team stop. This is what you should worry about. This is what you should change. This is what's open. Then might other teams, they're gonna be having a manager analyst that will be on their comms because they might need somebody that can take that final call.
Yeah.
But if they, yeah.
Well, guys, we got to let Mr. McCoy get back to it. But once again, second place finish in the first game,
Yep.
first place finish in the third game. NA represent. What's up?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Ghost
So-
came in doing good on day one.
That's
Who
what I
thought?
like. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to load into the next lobby right now. We're going to start up here in just a second. But before we do, we're going to take it to a few commercial breaks. Guys, we'll see you soon.